Fact is, we didn't get along well until photography came into its own. Then motion pictures in the earlier 20th century, radio, television, things began to have mass. And because they had mass, they became simpler.
And like, I don't mean this in a rude way, but just like, what is the point of like this? No, that sounds really mean.
No, it's right. The idea is that I've got to adapt a book or a text into a film. Or I don't have to adapt it, but I have to explain how I would adapt it.
Okay.
And I've also decided to kind of adapt it at the same time to be extra fancy.
Right.
Because obviously there's differences between, like Fahrenheit 451 is set in 1950s America.
Yeah.
And then now it's not 1950s and we're not in America.
Like, the book relies on its formal qualities of making the reader imagine its world to show you the importance of thinking for yourself. You want to tell a similar message, but how?
Yeah, so we've got a problem. The fact that you imagine a book kind of helps what the book is trying to say. Of like, we need to think more, we need to imagine. These are the worlds rather than kind of just being okay with what is.
Yeah.
And then film potentially doesn't do that in a way, or it has the potential to not do that. It has the potential to make people just go, oh, this is what it is. Like when you get some adaptations that are exactly what it says on the tin, and it's like, what's kind of the point of this?
We put man at the head of the table. It's man, isn't it, Linda? Absolutely. Well, if Linda thinks it's all right, well, then of course it must be. But there's still the problem about the rooms, Charles. Well, what rooms are there? There's the pink room, but you can always put Lily in the pink room. And we can put Susan in the green. Yes, no, we can put Monica in the green. Yes.
This is how I watched the film.
Do you have the answer, Linda?
What makes this scene different?
Well, yeah, British. I'm kind of setting it almost in the present. Like, how can we use the book to kind of consider some of the things that we have now, like the internet. The scene that I'm doing is a scene about the main character's boss telling him, we're going to have an overflow of information and it's going to make sure that people don't think. I don't want to be the person who goes like, this is a lot about society today. I want to kind of instead go, okay, how can we consider what we're kind of currently going through through that kind of lens?
Yeah, okay.
He's kind of quite just an all-encompassing character. He's a bit of a kind of, almost a bit of a big brother in a way that you've got that feeling of tension that he's very certain of his life. He's kind of explaining why and how history became the way it is. I guess it works with the idea of history itself, where it's things happened and therefore we are where we are now.
Once books appealed to a few people here, there, everywhere. The world was roomy.
Well, it's in the nature of news media, isn't it, to have to boil down and kind of simplify the rationale to make it newsworthy. You know, news media works in like tiny bursts anyway. So
Classics cut down to 15-minute radio shows, and then cut again to fill 2-minute book columns, winding up at last as a 10 or 12-line dictionary resume. I exaggerate, of course.
What is Corkle?
Trying to tell a message through tons of different things.
I've always had to work for the things that I want. I never got anything handed to me. But I'm 20 years old. I don't want to work anymore. I don't want to do this.
Every 90 minutes, someone between the ages of 15 and 24 takes his or her life.
I don't want to be a loser.
It made me feel cold, like if love wasn't for me.
I can't say I'm too happy. I couldn't say that, really.
I wish I had a mother like me instead of nice. Nice gets you shit. I didn't like my mother either, so what?
Speed up the film, Montag. Quick! Click. Look. I. Now. Flick. Here. There. Up. Down. In. Out. Why? How? Who? What? Where? Eh? Bang. Smack. Wallop. Bing. Bong. Boom. Politics? 1 column, 2 sentences. Headline. whirl of man's mind around so fast under the pumping hands of the publishers, exploiters, broadcasters, that the centrifuge flings off all unnecessary thought.
The amount, the sheer weight of material that we're continually scrolling through at the moment, there's a kind of slightly desperate air to it.
Yeah.
But I find that's it's cleverly done.
What makes this scene British?
Accent. Part of me wants to say RP, a presentation of authority that I think tonally you kind of get in Britain that you don't really get in America.
Okay.
In the same way, where you don't get
something
kind of poshness in America.
Yeah, we're less conscious of a kind of class thing at play, entitled sense of power and authority.
Mm-hmm.
The zipper displaces the button.
Power in British terms is almost less violent than American. At least on the surface.
Passively aggressive, because you have this weight of a system behind you, perhaps.
Yeah. I made him topless, which he isn't in the book.
You just wanted to see your dad.
Yeah, I just wanted to see my dad topless, of course. It kind of felt like a British thing to do, and I don't know why. It was kind of this idea of like a British masculinity, that kind of pale, like awkward body. At least for me, there's something British about that.
Yeah.
And British about the sense that like those types of person are quite honest as well. They are as they are, and they're quite. They attempt to kind of use it as a state of power. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Man lacks just that much time to think while dressing at dawn. A philosophical hour, and thus a melancholy hour. Slightly odd. It's slightly kind of psychosexual in a it's like a curious thing, isn't it? It's a kind of macho. It's a macho thing, but it's like a kind of let's demonstrate our
kind of
maleness.
Yeah. It's at a point where we shift from thinking about what you're saying to almost feeling what you're saying.
Small pictures. The mind drinks less and less. Impatience.
We've got to remove ourselves from the fidelity of the work.
That's part of the palimpsest of the adaptation, deliberately revealing itself.
The second half of this, for me, what I want to do is less kind of actualising what happens in the book. I want to take it almost a step further, and I want to actualise exactly what you say, where you have that exact point of reference. Yeah, to create the sense of an overload of the feeling of getting exactly what you want. What if literally everything that they say is exactly how they say it?
Highways full of crowds going somewhere, nowhere. The gasoline refugee.
We still need to leave space for the imagination, because without it, hopefully within this film, I'll show that it is a horrible experience. I want to make it the worst experience to watch this film as possible. Mildred she's not really treated with a lot of love in the book, which it does kind of raise some questions. There's a part where he looks at her and her mouth, but he doesn't hear what she says.
If you just leave Mildred as she is, are you losing a chance to adapt her character beyond the text?
Is it integral to the book that she is no one? Even if I just kind of show that she is undervalued, is that doing enough? In the film, if you even just show that she's talking, you can at least work out things from that. You can at least work out part of who she is through that.
By having me be the one who criticises you, are you just making me more like what Mildred is meant to be instead of letting me be myself?
Maybe. It's better for me to be criticised by someone who kind of at least knows some of these experiences. That being said, I did write the question.
Why am I not on camera?
Would you like to turn to the camera?
A book is a loaded gun in the house next door. Burn it. Take the shot from the weapon. Breach man's mind. If you don't want a man unhappy politically, Don't give him two sides to a question to worry him. Give him one.
So full of facts, they feel stuffed, but absolutely brilliant with information.
Sense of motion without moving.
Facts of that sort don't change.
Bring on your clubs and your parties, your
Acrobats and your magicians, your daredevils, jet cars, motorcycles, helicopters, sex and heroin. More of everything to do with automatic reflex. If the play is hollow, sting me with the theremin loudly. They'll think I'm responding to the play, when it's only a tactile reaction to vibrations.